Hello and welcome to K News. This is Hardik Trivedi. Let's have a look what is happening in India and in the world. A rumbling volcano in western Indonesia on Sunday unleashed an avalanche of scorching clouds down the slopes. Authorities are closely monitoring Mount Sinabung on Sumatra, one of Indonesia's main islands, after sensors picked up increasing activity in past weeks. The volcano in North Sumatra province was shooting smoke and ash more than 1,000 meters into the air on Sunday morning, and hot ash cloud traveled 1 kilometer southeast. Indonesia's Volcanology and Geological Hazard Mitigation Center said villagers were advised to stay 5 kilometers from the crater's mouth and should be aware of the peril of lava, the agency said. Air travel was not impacted by the ash so far, the Transport Ministry said. There were no casualties from the eruption, said Airman Putra, an official at the Sinabung monitoring post. He said villages outside the red zone were not in immediate danger. Some 30,000 people have been forced to leave homes around Sinabung in the past few years. The 2,600-meter Sinabung was doormat of 4 centuries before exploding in 2010, killing 2 people. Another eruption in 2014 killed 17 people, while 7 died in a 2016 eruption. Sinabung is among more than 120 active volcanoes in Indonesia, which is prone to be seismic upheaval due its location on the Pacific Ring of Fire, an arc of volcanoes and fault lines encircling the Pacific Basin. The head of the UN's Atomic Watchdog Agency will head to Tehran next week to press Iranian authorities for access to sites where the country is thought to have stored or used undeclared nuclear material, the organization said Saturday. It will be the first visit to Iran of International Atomic Energy Agency Director General Rafael Grossi since he took office last December, and comes amid intense international pressure on the country over its nuclear program. The focus will be on access to sites thought to be from the early 2000s, before the Iran signed the 2015 nuclear deal with world powers. Iran maintains the IAEA inspectors have no legal basis to inspect the sites. I also hope to establish a fruitful and cooperative channel of direct dialogue with the Iranian government, which will be valuable now and in the future. The Iranian delegation to international organizations in Vienna tweeted that we hope this visit will lead to reinforced mutual cooperation. Since President Donald Trump unilaterally pulled the US out of the nuclear deal with Iran in 2018, the other countries involved, France, Britain, Germany, Russia and China, have been struggling to keep it alive. The deal, known as the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action or JCPOA, promises Iran economic incentives in exchange for curbs on its nuclear program. 4 people have died in floods caused by heavy rain along Turkey's Black Sea coastline, the Interior Minister said on Sunday. A further 11 people were missing after flooding around the mountain town of Dereli in Giresun province. So far, 127 of our citizens have been rescued in search, Interior Minister Suleiman Soylu said while visiting the town. One of the dead was a police officer whose vehicle was swept away by the floods. Television footage showed vehicles and debris being carried by floodwater along the main road of Dereli, which lies around 12 miles inland. Soilu said 118 villages in the region had been cut off. Heavy rain along the Black Sea coast on Saturday evening also saw apartment buildings evacuated after landslides in Rize province, 110 miles east of Giresun. Meteorologists forecast heavy storms in Giresun and the neighboring provinces of Trebizond, Rize and Artvin for later Sunday. US President Donald Trump on Saturday accused members of the deep state at the FDA without providing evidence of working too slow testing of COVID-19 vaccines until after the November presidential election. In a Twitter post, Trump said the deep state or whoever at the FDA was making it very difficult for drug companies to enroll people in clinical trials to test vaccines and therapies for the novel coronavirus. The comment came after Reuters exclusively reported on Thursday that a top FDA official said he would resign if the Trump administration approved a vaccine before it was shown to be safe and effective. Obviously, they are hoping to delay the answer until after November 3rd. Must focus on speed and saving lives, Trump wrote, tagging FDA Commissioner Stephen Hahn in the tweet. US House Speaker Nancy Pelosi said it was a dangerous statement and that the president was beyond the pale for accusing the FDA of playing politics. The FDA could not immediately be reached for comment. His tweet increases the pressure on the FDA after Peter Marks, director of its Center for Biologics and Evaluation and Research, last week said on a conference call with government officials, pharmaceutical executives and academics that he would resign if the agency rubber-stamped an unproven vaccine. Congress's interim chief Sonia Gandhi has said she would step down from the party's interim chief's post at the big internal meeting tomorrow after a letter signed by more than 20 top leaders of the party seeking full-time visible leadership become public. The letter, signed by the senior leaders like Kapil Sibal, Shashi Tharoor, Ghulam Nabi Azad, Prithviraj Chauhan, Vivek Tankha and Anand Sharma, sought sweeping changes, pointing to the decisive support among the youth for Prime Minister Narendra Modi. The letter called for a full-time effective leadership that will be visible and active in the field, sources said. The signatories, however, made it clear that there is no criticism of Rahul Gandhi. We have not criticized Sonia Gandhi or Rahul Gandhi, but we want a complete overhaul of the Congress party in its management and style, one of them told. The letter praised Rahul Gandhi and Sonia Gandhi and said they will remain in internal part of the collective leadership. The letter also called for an honest introspection, suggested a collective leadership and stressed that the youth are losing confidence in the party. The list of suggested reforms includes decentralization of power, empowerment of state units, and organizational elections at every level, sources said. The working committee meeting last month saw arguments and sharp criticism by younger leaders who were seen to blame the party's last government for its massive downfall since. The younger leaders reportedly said those who were part of the last UPA government should take the blame for the Congress's rapid decline. With Rakesh Asthana taking over as full-time Director General of the BSF, technological upgradation of the force has started with approval for 436 small and micro drones of border surveillance and anti-drone system being currently tested on India-Pakistan border to shoot down any drone carrying weapon load for terrorists in Punjab and Jammu and Kashmir. Under the comprehensive integrated border management plan, all 1,923 border outposts manned by BSF on Pakistan and Bangladesh border will be equipped with sensors, CCTV and drone feeds from the sector headquarters, with as many as 1500 posts as rest are in remote locations, being able to fly drone and use anti-drone system to shoot any weapon payload transportation from across. According to senior Ministry of Home Affairs officials, while the cost of small and micro drone will come around rupees 88 crore, the BSF, with the help of security agencies, is currently testing an indigenous anti-drone system on the sensitive Punjab border with Pakistan. In the past 1 year, Pakistani deep state is using Chinese commercial drones to transport assault rifles, pistols and grenades to the Khalistani terrorists in Punjab as well as jihadis in Jammu and Kashmir. By killing 5 Pakistani intruders carrying assault rifles and Afghan heroin on Friday morning, the new DG has made his intentions clear that the BSF will proactive on both the borders and will not allow any anti-India activity. It is understood that the BSF chief personally spoke to the company commander who carried out the successful operation in Taran sector. China's fragile economic recovery is ushering in a dangerous new phase for the nation's $4.1 trillion corporate bond market, with the economy now strong enough for policymakers to dial back financial support, but still too weak to save the most distressed borrowers. Some fund managers are bracing for defaults on domestic Chinese debt to hit record highs this year. Delinquencies have already started rising after a remarkably quiet second quarter, and pressure on borrowers is set to grow as 3.65 trillion yuan of notes mature by year end. While few see a crisis is in the offing, debt specialists at SC Loy and Admas Assets Management are becoming more selective in China, arguing that the government-induced calm in local credit markets is unlikely to last. Analysts say non-state companies, low-rated developers, and some local government financing vehicles are particularly vulnerable as borrowing costs climb and refinancing becomes more difficult. The government has neither the firepower nor the will to backdrop at all, said Brock Silvers, Chief Investment Officers at Admas Asset Management in Hong Kong, adding that he expects onshore defaults in China to reach a new annual record. That would mean another 72.2 billion yuan of delinquencies by the end of the December, according to data complied Bloomberg. It's time for a short break. We'll join you in a short while.
दुनिया की नजर आज हम पर टिकी है, जिसमें सिर्फ एक सवाल है, हमारा अगला कदम क्या है। तो जवाब ये है कि हम तैयार हैं पूरी तरह। पूरी दुनिया का दिल जीतने के लिए। अहमियत इस बात की नहीं कि आप किन बुलंदियों पर हैं, बल्कि इस बात की है कि यहां पहुंचने का हौसला किससे मिला। देश की मिट्टी से। कजारिया देश की मिट्टी से बनी टाइल से देश को बनाते हैं।
the Ken lifestyle with Ken Star.
Welcome back to K News and thank you for watching. Let's continue the streak of news. Firefighters in California were racing to slow the spread of wildfires that burned nearly 1 million acres in a week and destroyed hundreds of homes as weekend weather threatened to spark new fires and overwhelm the state's firefighting ability. Responding to the emergency, President Donald Trump issued on Saturday a major disaster declaration to provide federal assistance. Governor Gavin Newsom said in a statement that his declaration will also help in people in counties affected by the fires with crisis counseling, housing, and other social services. The National Weather Service issued a red flag warning of high fire danger across the Bay Area and along the Central Coast, beginning from Sunday morning to Monday afternoon. Since thousands of lightning strikes began on August 15, the state responded to 585 wildfires that have burned nearly 1 million acres, according to CAL FIRE. The fires have killed 5 people, torched nearly 700 homes and other structures, and forced tens of thousands from their houses. By Friday, the approximately 13,700 firefighters on the line began to get help on the ground and in the air from 10 states, along with the National Guard and US military. Union Minister Jitendra Singh on Saturday said states and union territories can avail of scores on the Common Eligibility Test to be conducted by the National Recruitment Agency to shortlist candidates for government jobs. This would actually help the recruiting agencies, including the state and UT governments, to save the cost and time spent on recruitment, while at the same time also be convenient and cost effective for the young job aspirants, he said. An arrangement in the form of MOU could be put in place for using the CET score by them, Singh said, the Minister of State for Personnel. Eventually, this could prove a win-win arrangement both for the employer as well as employee. Singh said that the CET score could be shared with the recruiting agencies in the state and union territory governments, as well as public sector undertakings, and also later on with the private sector, according to an official statement. States and union territories can avail the Common Eligibility Test to be conducted by the NRA for job selection, the decision for which passed the Union Cabinet meeting chaired by Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Wednesday. The NRA is mandated to conduct the CET online for selecting candidates for a majority of central government jobs. Singh said the Department of Personnel and Training and he himself are in touch with many state and union territory governments, which have expressed their inclination to be a part of the sharing arrangement of CET score. The Bharatiya Janata Party, Janata Dal United and Lok Janshakti Party will fight elections together in Bihar under the leadership of Chief Minister Nitish Kumar. BJP National President JP Nadda said on Sunday, amid speculations over the fate of the NDA alliance in the eastern state. While addressing the party's Bihar Working Committee via video conferencing, Nadda expressed confidence in the BJP, JDU and LJP alliance in the state. We will fight Bihar polls together and emerge victorious, he said about the Bihar Assembly polls due to October-November this year. Nadda's comments come at a time when the JDU and LJP have been training guns at each other, while the Kumar-led party even saying their alliance in the state is only with the BJP, even as the Ramvilas Paswan's outfit has been questioning the Chief Minister's leadership. Pointing towards the challenges due to the coronavirus, Nadda asked party workers to take all precautions of physical and social distancing and resort to small door-to-door campaigning, which he said was the best form given the trying times. Touch all sections of the society, all age groups of people, and tell them about the work done by the center and state. The senior leader also slammed the opposition in Bihar as well as other states, saying they have become a spent force. India's COVID-19 tally sprinted past the 30 lakh mark just 16 days after it crossed 20 lakh, while 22 lakh 80,000 people have replicated in the country so far, pushing the recovery rate to 74.90%, according to the Union Health Ministry data. With a single-day spike of 69,000 infections, the country's COVID-19 caseload mounted to 30 lakh 44,000, while the death toll climbed to 56,700, with 912 fatalities being reported in a span of 24 hours. The data updated at 8 a.m. showed the COVID-19 case fatality rate has declined to 1.86%. There are 707,668 active cases of coronavirus infections in the country, which comprises 23.24% of the total caseload, the data stated. India's COVID-19 tally had crossed the 20 lakh mark on August 7. According to the ICMR, a cumulative total of 3 crore 52 lakhs samples have been tested up to August 22, with 8 lakh samples being tested on Sunday. State-run oil marketing companies on Sunday revised the petrol prices across all the metro cities, while diesel price remained unchanged. The oil companies hiked petrol rates by 14 paise in the national capital, which now retails at 81.49 rupees per litre. In Mumbai, Kolkata and Chennai, the petrol prices were hiked by 12 to 14 paise per litre as per the notifications from the Indian Oil Corporation. In the national capital, the petrol price was hiked by 81.35 to 81.49 per litre, while the diesel is retailing at 73.56 per litre. The oil companies have hiked the petrol rates by 1.06 in the last 8 days. There has been a consistent revision in petrol prices across all metros since August 16, except August 19. In Mumbai, the petrol rates have jumped to 88.16 per litre from 88.02 per litre, seeing a hike of 14 paise. Diesel rates in the financial capital also remain steady at 80.11 per litre. Petrol rates have been revised in other metro cities every day as well. On Sunday, the petrol rates are hiked by 12 paise in Chennai, 15 paise in Bengaluru, and 14 paise in Kolkata. Notably, diesel prices have remained unchanged for almost a month now. The customers in Delhi continue to shed 73.56 for a litre of diesel, while buyers in Mumbai have to pay 80.11 per litre. In Chennai and Kolkata, diesel prices remained untouched at 78.86 and 77.06 per litre respectively. India on Saturday categorically rejected the reference made to Jammu and Kashmir in a joint statement issued by Pakistan and China after talks between foreign ministers of the two countries. Spokesperson in the Ministry of External Affairs, Anurag Srivastava, said the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir is an integral and inalienable part of India, and that it expects the parties concerned not to interfere in the country's internal matters. As in the past, we categorically reject the reference to the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir in the joint press release of the second round of China-Pakistan Foreign Ministers' strategic dialogue. He said in their second annual strategic dialogue on Friday, Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi and his Pakistani counterpart Shah Mahmood Qureshi discussed the Kashmir issue and progress on the so-called China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, among a host of other issues. Mr. Srivastava said India has repeatedly conveyed its concerns to both China and Pakistan on the projects in so-called China-Pakistan Economic Corridor, which are in the territory of India that has been illegally occupied by Pakistan. We resolutely oppose actions by other countries that change the status quo in Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir and call on the parties concerned to case such action, Mr. Srivastava added. A landslide occurred on Rishikesh-Badrinath highway near Bayasi in Uttarakhand's Tehri Garhwal district earlier on Sunday. In the video, a crowd is seen rushing towards safety as a patch of the mountain on a scratchy, narrow road comes crashing down. No casualties have been reported so far. Normal life in Uttarakhand has been affected due to heavy rainfall in different parts of the state. Several rescue operations are being carried out in rain-hit villages situated in remote areas. As per reports, the continuous rainfall has hit Uttarakhand's highway connectivity. The road from Dehradun to Badrinath, Kedarnath and Yamunotri are blocked at several points, with rocks and boulders tumbling down the hill slope following heavy rain. The Rishikesh-Badrinath highway was blocked in Tota Ghati in Chamoli, the road to Kedarnath at Jaleshwar Mahadev and the one to Yamunotri at Silai Band in Uttarakshi. Uttarakhand Chief Minister Trivendra Singh Rawat on Saturday asked the district magistrates to make a long-term plan to help disaster-affected people be placed if required. CM Rawat said that a proposal will be sent to the central government for approval of forest land for displacing people of sensitive villages, according to the report. That's all for now. Keep watching K News. This is Hardik Trivedi taking your leave. Be alert, be positive, be safe.